right. Such a natural segue from Leslie Stahl to hair.
Yes. I'm surprised not a lot of people have been to Drybar.
Wait, show.
How many people have been? Oh, okay.
That's not a lot.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear.
Were you expecting like 100%?
I was expecting like a roar,
you
know. But this is good. This is good. I'm feeling better now.
It's not a bad start. Trust me, if this was asked at our tech conference, it would be far fewer hands. So yeah. So first of all, I've never been so nervous about my hair before an interview.
I hear that a lot.
But if it's not up to snuff, I went to Drybar a few days ago, so.
Appreciate that. It's a little humid today.
It is very humid here. Okay, let's talk about business though.
Yes.
Hair is your business, but it's business, right? So,
it is business.
So we want to talk about growing the company, founding the company. Tell us a little bit about the projection, the growth track, because as Nina said, you have more than 100 locations, and you only started in 2010, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
It feels like Drybar has been around for much longer than that.
Same.
I bet. Has the growth been sort of in line with what you wanted, what you anticipated? Have you had to like press on the brakes a few times to make sure that you don't grow too fast?
Yes, and yes, and yes. So, the thing about Drybar, it's been such a dream come true that I didn't totally know that I had. I have naturally curly hair. I grew up in South Florida, so my whole life has been about figuring out how to blow out my hair, which I could make the argument that I went to beauty school all those years ago for that very reason, and I finally learned. But, we opened, it's kind of a long story how we actually came to opening Drybar, but when we did open it, it was really intended to be our one little shop, my one little shop. I was gonna, my kids at the time were 3 and 5, and I was gonna pick them up from school and run this salon and just do blowouts and make like a nice little living, and that was gonna be my life. Mm-hmm. We had no idea. There was no business plan. I mean, I didn't go to college. I don't have any fancy degrees. Like I had a good idea. My parents are entrepreneurs. I have entrepreneurial blood. And I was like, I think this concept will work on a very small scale. I was living in LA and thought this will be great. And we'll open one store and maybe we'll do 30 to 40 blowouts a day and bam, we'll have a business. We all severely underestimated the impact, the demand, and how this would resonate with women. I mean, and nobody is more surprised than me that it turned into what it has. I mean, it's
and you started it with your brother, right?
Yes.
Who is bald, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. And he was like, he knows more about hair than any straight guy should know. But and it was without I could give you guys my life story, but to make it a little short and sweet, my brother was always the overachiever in our family, and like the Alex P. Keaton. Does everybody get that reference? Not everybody everywhere gets that reference, but it was like the best show ever. But that was my brother, such an overachiever, and was like, Michael's gonna be fine. He's gonna do something really great with his life. Alli, on the other hand, not so sure. I was like the late bloomer of the family, and my brother was like always in trouble, and I was always in the background, and I was very like shy as a kid. And fast forward to us doing other things and figuring out our careers and our lives, us coming together to do Drybar. Now I had spent almost 20 years doing hair, and he was doing all sorts of other stuff, especially for our parents, was very bittersweet because I had all this knowledge about hair and the hair industry and this massive billion-dollar industry that I wanted to start a blowout bar in. And he, of course, was like, I don't even understand what a blowout is. His wife also happens to have like stick straight hair, like the girls I hated in high school, like their hair just dried straight. And I was like, how does it do that? But so it was really nice to come together because I really brought this skill set of understanding hair and the hair industry, and I knew how to run this salon. I knew what to do, but he was definitely the business side. So it turned obviously out to be a really great partnership, and we're best friends, and we love working together.
So okay, I am gonna talk a little bit more about hair. I'm just curious, I saw a recent interview with you where you said one of the beauty trends of the year is actually curls. And obviously a lot of what you guys do is you make women feel good. You make someone who comes in feel good, right?
Confidence, yep.
But is that mutually exclusive with also going more natural. And this gets into so many, I mean, ideals of beauty and racial issues and a lot of deeper topics. And I'm just wondering what your take is on that and how do you balance those two things?
Well, I mean, I think that there's something really powerful about having great hair. There just is. Am I right? When your hair looks good, you feel good. I mean, listen, I would be lying if I said I didn't feel like when we first started this business, I used to say to people all the time, I feel like this is like the most vain business and we're not really, you know, at least when you get your hair cut and colored, there's a change and something, you know, like an actual change. When you get your hair blown out, it's like, it looks really pretty for a couple of days and then that's it. So I was like, this feels very kind of vain, but I was wrong. And what I very quickly realized, you know, when I would see this transformation happen with women, when they would walk in our shops, and if you sat in our shops, I promise you would see this. Women come in very serious, either like with their hair in a bun, all business, like serious. And then they're sitting in our chair, they're watching the chick flicks, like she mentioned, which is, everybody loves that. They get their hair done, and then we whisk them around, for the big reveal, they see their hair, and they're like, whoa. And now they're like, you know, walking to the front, looking at themselves in every mirror, and there's this confidence. I mean, and it's for every woman, you know, it's a woman women tell me they don't go to a board meeting without a blowout, or an important interview, or a date, or just to feel good. And so, to answer your question, you know, I learned very quickly. We have 107 locations. We do over 1.2 million blowouts a year. Like, there is something to this, right? But I do think that there is also, I have naturally curly hair, and I let it be natural and curly sometimes. I think there's something to embracing that too. And we post pictures all the time, like on our Instagram, and of girls like with natural curly hair, because I think there's a place for that too. It's just how you're feeling, and I feel like we accommodate all sorts of women, all sorts of races, and you know, and everything in between. And you know, it's like, just, I think it's more of this message of like, be comfortable in your own skin and what you are rocking, you know. And if you feel like you need a blowout because you need that little extra bit of confidence, then come to Drybar.
All right, let's talk about focus. You have said that you should figure out what your one thing is that you're good at and focus on it. And Drybar is a very focused business.
Yes.
Have you considered adding, I mean, there are, I'm sure, a lot of segues, a lot of things that you could be doing.
Yeah.
What have you
You sound like my investors.
Yeah. What are some extensions that you could, no pun intended.
Good one. You know, it really has been something that truly has come up since like day one, and truly from a lot of our investors, because we have this captive audience of women, and I am like the quintessential consumer. If you put something in front of me and tell me it's really good and it works, I will buy it. It's just who I am. And so I realized that if we were to try to sell lipstick, or we were doing manicures or lashes or whatever, some of the things that women have come to love, yeah, I get the convenience of it. I get that it's, from an investor standpoint, that, oh, we could sell them and we could make a lot more money because we could sell this and that. But, you know, there's just, the whole thing for this has not been about money for me. You know, I mean, I felt like that was never the driving force. And not that I don't want to make money, of course, but when we started, I felt like I am the hair authority. I have done, I mean, what is it? Malcolm Gladwell says after 10,000 hours, I am an expert in blowouts. It's the only thing I'm an expert in. So it's my thing. And I always felt like in my gut, if we were to add anything else, it would really convolute the brand. And I feel like, and I don't think it's necessarily true for everybody and everything, but I feel like for us, if we were to add anything else, I think we would maybe be good at a lot of things, but not great at one thing. And my mission and my goal was to be the best and great at blowouts. And I can tell you from having 3,000 millennial employees that it takes a lot of work and a lot of time and money and blood, sweat, and tears to train our stylists to get them to be where we need them to be. And to try to add in other stuff, I think would just be the kiss of death for us. So no.
You are starting another business, though.
I am starting another business. But
I
can't tell you what it is yet. An announcement is coming very soon, and it's not anything to do with Drybar, and it's not anything like Drybar, but it is something that I'm very excited about.
All right, and you also have a podcast series where you interview entrepreneurs, so obviously keeping very busy.
Yes.
Any questions for Alli, or I can keep going? We've got one back there.
Hi, Alli.
Hi.
I'm Maria Chavez with the National Council on Aging. So 2 things. I kind of told your employees at the Drybar at the Monarch you were coming to this, so FYI, I think they're looking for you.
Good to know.
And they're very excited if you stop over. They're dressed all to the nine.
Aww.
Okay. I've been to several of your locations throughout the country. One of the things I do want to ask you, you know, we have 10,000 people every day turning 65. Baby boomers and beyond are really focused on their image. I look at your options, the Mai Tai, the Cosmo, and a lot of your pictures are of very young, beautiful women. What's your outlook about serving older women these days?
You know, it's a good question, and it is something that we consider and something that we probably need to keep in mind. I mean, I feel like, you know, I'm getting older, and I still feel pretty good. But I think that it is something that we really try to bring in, you know, everybody from all walks of life, because we do service women from, you know, teenagers to, you know, grandmothers and everybody in between. So I think that is something that we, you know, we're very cognizant of, just like showing a lot of different ethnicities, and, you know, it's balancing all of that. I do think it's an important message, and something I will take to heart too from you.
Other questions? Got one over here.
I just want to take the opportunity to ask a sort of personal question.
Oh.
So I go into Drybar. I usually go when I'm in a city that I'm not that familiar with. Otherwise, I'm going to go to my hairdresser who knows me. But I often feel that I'm starting the relationship from scratch. They don't understand my hair, what I'm doing. I'm wondering if there's a way I could put a profile and give them more history, so when they talk to me, it's not like sometimes I have a disappointing experience because they don't know that I have frizzy hair that looks like this.
Yeah. Well, how have your blowouts been? Have they been good? Medium?
Medium.
This is a tough crowd. Jeez.
It really depends on the person and how I relate to them and whether they.
It's a really good question. I mean, are you using data, or are you trying to?
You know, it's been a really tough thing, and something that we've talked so much about, like a dossier and having it so, like, you know.
Dossier is not a good word to use these days.
Yeah, you're right.
Just politically. I get it. Let's go with profile.
Okay, profile. Yeah, because there's a lot of technology that is needed for that, but there are times when if you come in and you have a blowout that you absolutely love, and we want to like capture that moment, and we're working on things that we can do to do that, to capture that better. But frankly, the model of Drybar, unlike the model of like going to your hairdresser who knows you and knows how you like your hair and all of that, which is great, but our business model, which I really do believe has served us well, is that for the most part, you can go and you know, we're not perfect and we're not always going to get it right, and I allow for that, but the idea of Drybar was that you weren't going to see, you know, your hairdresser Sally, and that's the only person you see. The idea and the hope is that, you know, we train our stylists so extensively so that you can sit in anybody's chair at any time and get pretty much the same service. We don't want robots. We want our stylists to all have a different flair. But I will tell you that I do hear from a lot of women that, like, oh, you know, they have 1 or 2 stylists at Drybar that they love, but sometimes they're not available, and I urge them, like, sit in somebody else's chair, just try it. And usually the result is like, it wasn't exactly how I necessarily wanted it, but it was something different and new that I kind of liked, that I wasn't willing to try. So it's, you know, again, the model is that we don't want the model to be you only go to your hairdresser, because that would be very limiting to the business. The idea is that you're able to see several hairdressers. Does that work for everybody? No. And there are certainly clients who have like 3 or 4 stylists at Drybar that they absolutely love, and they only see them, and that's, you know, but it's kind of, you know, the balance of trying to not be a traditional hair salon.
All right, well, Alli, I hope you enjoyed our constructive criticism, and we hope you will join us again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.